The Social Life by John Holt in Growing Without Schooling 11. I find more and more, and others do too, that when we talk to people about unschooling, one of the first responses we get is the question, what about the social life? As GWS readers know, I reply to this by saying that the social life of most of the schools and classrooms I have ever seen or heard about is so mean-spirited, status-oriented, competitive, and snobbish that I would be glad to keep a child out of it in any way I could. What I find more and more remarkable is how people, by now they must number into the hundreds, respond to this reply of mine. I cannot remember even one person who has said to me, "You're wrong about the social life at school. It is kindly, generous, supporting, democratic, friendly, loving, etc. And the children love it and benefit from it, etc." No, without exception, when I condemn the social life of school, people then say, "But that's what the world is like. That's what children are going to meet in real life." A news story on my desk quotes one superintendent as saying, "I would be particularly worried about the social adjustment of the child. He just wouldn't know what it's like to be working in groups." And Holt adds, in parentheses, "as if there were no groups anywhere in the world except in schools." The article continues. Another said, "We can't keep our kids in the closet all their lives. Sure, there are some things in the schools that are not perfect, but that's what life is about. What we have to teach children at home is how to cope with the bad things, not lock the kid up to protect him." A recent issue of End Violence Against the Next Generation reports that a school in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, recently paddled 100 children for running in the playground during recess. About this, the principal and paddler, William Smith, said, "We cannot guarantee their safety if they continue to run." He later announced that the paddling had had a positive effect because there were few violations of the no run rule and no accidents. But it couldn't have worked too well, for a few weeks later the school removed all basketballs, jump ropes, and tetherballs from the playground as well. A parent in a fairly rich Boston suburb called me only a few days ago to report that her children had recently told her that they were forbidden to run or play games during recess, probably for the same reason. So much for keeping kids locked in closets and so on. As a matter of fact, this may not be a bad time to report what one other parent wrote me a few months ago. Her child, a third or fourth grader, who lives quite close to the school, had been late coming home. The mother started to walk to school to see if she could find her. On the way, she met the child's teacher. When the teacher saw the mother, a startled expression came over her face, and she quickly turned and went back to the school to let the child out of the closet into which she had locked her some time before, which she had completely forgotten. Naturally, the mother made quite a fuss about this, and naturally, nothing was done about it. To return to my main point, a very large number of people, including many or most school people, seem to accept and support the idea that school is a place where children have a lot of bad experiences to get them ready for the bad experiences they will later have in real life. Well, if people who feel that way about life want to have that kind of training for their children, I suppose it is their right. But people who don't feel that life is basically boring, meaningless, and cruel should not be compelled to watch their children being brainwashed, programmed, and bullied into that belief. One other point. I suspect that most of the people who worry about their children fitting in are people who have never felt that they themselves really fitted in, but felt instead more like the losers and outcasts of whom our schools are so full.